I can.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. GameHounds podcast. We are here. We are live on YouTube. We haven't started the actual podcast yet, but we're getting ourselves sorted out. Everybody on this podcast is now sheltered in place. And Nick and I, yesterday, got our shelter in place, our stay home order extended to May 3rd. It expires midnight on May 3rd. So we will come out of our houses on May 4th. We will see our shadows, run back inside, and we'll get 6 more weeks of winter.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm so sick of my walls right now. I have been inside.
The problem is, and I might have brought this up last. It's just I have all this time now, and I'm like, oh, I'll play all these games, I'll do all these projects, I'll do this, that, and the other thing, and what ends up happening is that I'm just not in a good state of mind to relax and do these things. You know, if it was like, hey, at the end of the month, it's all going to go back to normal, then okay, I got a month off. I'll read a book. I'll play some games. I'll have some fun. But I'm really worried about beyond that and what's going to happen. So I can't relax. It's like sitting on death row.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to die at the end of the week. And it's like, great, you got a week. You don't have to worry about anything. Well, no, you know.
Right. It's actually a month. It's a week of actually worrying more about things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing my best to keep myself busy. Thank God for this podcast. Actually, let me start the show. But thank God for this podcast, because if it weren't for this podcast, I wouldn't be showering. I realized today when I got into the shower, it's like, do I need to take a shower before the show? It's like, I haven't showered in a week.
Oh, that's gross.
How do you live
gross.
with yourself?
Dude.
Like, if I go a day without showering, like the next day I wake up and go,
yeah,
oh,
Kevin.
God, I need to shower.
Because you're an Italian, you're greasy. Kevin's the same way. He's been showering every day. Because
Yeah.
if he doesn't shower every day, he turns into a grease ball. I am Irish. I literally can go a week and you wouldn't know. I know. I can feel it in myself. It's like, I'm starting to smell myself. It's time to go to take a shower. But it takes a good week before that happens.
Like, I woke up a half hour before this started, and I still jumped in the shower, if only to wash my greasy ass hair.
Yeah,
I do too. Yeah, I gotta wash what's left of my hair. Yeah.
My
See,
hair doesn't
I've
get
been
greasy.
walking.
It takes about 2 weeks for my hair to get greasy.
See, I get up in the morning, I take a quick walk, and then I'm all sweaty from the walk, so I shower, and then I'll take another walk in the afternoon, and I'll shower again because I'm all yucky. So.
You see, I do big old walks, and I really don't get sweaty. And Kevin is a sweat ball. Oh God, he's sweating like crazy. I mean, especially he's been working out since this whole COVID thing has started. Just like taking on a new, I am going to take care of myself now that I'm stuck inside. He's literally doing big walks every single day, hard walks up to the top of the hill in our town. And then he works out with weights for an hour a day.
Oh, nice.
And so he's actually working out, and every time he comes out and he's just drenched in sweat, it's like, I just don't sweat like that. Even when I'm...
You're lucky. Yeah.
No, it's, the Irish thing in me. Super dry. All right, let me get the show started. How are you guys doing? Other than that, how are you doing?
Well, what can you say? I've been doing my nightly show's been going pretty well on between 6:30 and 7 Boston time every night here on my YouTube, my Facebook channel. That's going well. I get people looking forward to us as we just talk whatever. We're trying to come up with a topic now. So one night we talked about some of our favorite video games. Some night we talked about our favorite movies, and we're trying to take people's mind off of this stuff, including my own mind.
Right.
And so we try to just talk and last night we just chatted about whatever, and I have people jumping in and out of the stream, which is good. So we'll have either sometimes it's myself, but sometimes I'll have up to 3 or 4 people with me, and we just talk, and we just some nights we go a half hour, and last night we almost went 2 hours. So we just depends who's in the chat room, depends what the feedback we get, depends how much fun we're having, and we just talk about our day, and we talk about things that make us happy, and that's what we try to do. And I look forward to that every night. That's the only thing I really look forward to. I do. I mope all day, and then that night I want to try to talk and have some fun.
And that's what I've been doing. I've been doing a daily live radio show on Spreaker. Totally not this one. It is for my neighborhood, playing music and news from my neighborhood about like businesses that are open or doing delivery or takeout, new stuff that's coming through the governor's office, or whatever information that needs to be said for about what's going on there. Whatever happens, and then having people call in. So I actually have a call in number now, and people, how are they doing, and what's new, and what are just. It's 1 hour a night, and there's part of me every day that's like, fuck, I don't really want to do this, but I now have like 50 people in my neighborhood listening to me. And to the point of where I go down the street and they're like, I love your show. It's like, all right, I got to keep doing this.
Yeah, I'm the same way. There's some nights I'm just tired, and I'm usually doing it with my buddy Ron. He's like, Dave, I'm tired. I said, that's fine, Ron. I'll do it myself. He's like, no, I'll do it. And then we get on there, and we got people from Canada, people from the UK tuning in. It's midnight in the UK when we get on at 7 o'clock, and they're like, I stayed up for you guys. And it's just like, you have to do it. You just, and these guys look forward to it.
Right.
As stupid as it sounds, it's therapy for me, but it's therapy for them. Every week, it's like, thanks for doing this. I got a place to hang out and talk with people, and the chat room's going nuts, and so
yeah, and I'm enjoying it. I'm finding a purpose to way to help my community. By the way, have you been doing the howl? Do you have howls in your neighborhood?
No.
So,
I don't know
all right. So this is sort of inspired by the videos of people from Italy going out on their porches or their balconies and singing every night to each other, just having a big sing along. Is that, and this is no matter where you are worldwide at 8 o'clock p.m., wherever you are, people are going out into their neighborhoods or out on their front porches or their balconies and howling at 8 o'clock every night. And we've been doing it in Point Richmond, and you can hear everybody in the neighborhood howling. Here, I think I've got actually. I don't know if I could play it. Maybe I can. Hold on a second. I've got it here somewhere. I've got a recording, and this is the recording of the howl going on in Mill Valley, is where we heard about it and started doing it. And I need to find audio hijack. I think this is it. Oh, here it is. Reveal in Finder. All right. I will play it. Hopefully you can hear it. Stand by. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
sounds like the coyotes in my neighborhood.
Yeah, and that's what people are doing.
That's funny.
So yeah, that's what people are doing every night in support of healthcare workers and first responders and truck drivers and everybody who's still working and keeping this country afloat every night at 8 o'clock. So if you are wherever you are in the world, 8 p.m., go outside and howl and start howling for everybody. Let your neighbors know, especially if you're in lockdown. And it's nice because you can go out, just yell, and it's a way of saying, fuck you, COVID. You can't beat us. We bring our dog outside and he howls along with us. So, all right. Now I need to actually start the show. So let me start the actual show. I need to put my image back in here now. How is everybody in the chat room? Who's in the chat room right now?
Oh, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell is backwards compatible. I might have to check on that.
Ooh, all right. So starting the show.
Okay.
All right. Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 539. We are recording this on April 1st, 2020. It is April Fool's Day. And nobody's in the
No.
mood to do an April Fool's joke.
No.
We're already having the ultimate April Fool's joke played on us by freaking COVID-19. I'm Edie Sellers. We got Holy Goalie. We got Nick DiNicola. Man, I'm so done with the inside of my house right now. And we were supposed to in California get out on April 7th. And yesterday we just found out that we are now getting out of the house on May 3rd. May 4th is the first day that we can get out of the house. So Nick, you and I, and you're the same way, right, Goalie?
Yep.
April 4th or May 4th.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're here. And I'm still waiting to start my job.
I need to check on
Goalie's
the
still
cat.
out of work. Nick's still
What?
working. You're still working from home, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah. And apparently you cannot get a animal from a shelter right now because everybody's fostering animals because they have
Oh,
nothing else to do.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, all the animals in the shelters are just empty. I don't know. I mean, Nick, you would know better than most because Caitlin is a shelter worker. What's things like over there?
Yeah. The shelter was emptied pretty. Even if she could go back to work, there wouldn't be anything for her to really do because there's no animals there. There's a couple animals, but it's like all you need is one or two people over there to take care of all the animals there because everyone else was taken in by foster care.
Yeah.
So
There's something to be said. Lots of animals getting adopted or at least fostered.
well, yeah, that's not adopted. That's foster.
Yeah,
That's-
fostering.
they're going straight back
Well,
into the.
Yeah,
Not
but
the
here's
same.
the thing about fostering. I know this. I have been a foster mom for dogs.
Mhm.
They stick around.
Sure, but
A
that's
good
not,
percentage of them stay, especially after a month. It's really hard to let the dogs go.
Yeah, that's true. But ideally, you would have someone else adopt them because shelter people can only adopt so many animals.
Right. Well, I mean,
And
the foster
already
people
probably have multiple people.
right, but a lot of the foster people are brand new to fostering, never had a foster animal before, so
Maybe.
hopefully all these will find forever homes instead of foster homes.
Hopefully.
So, thank you for reminding me. We, AC Wraith, our Patreon is patreon.com/GameHounds. More important than ever right now because, except for Nick, everybody on the show is now unemployed. Yay! Ugh. But we're making it through. We have in the chat room on YouTube, by the way, if you are listening to this, hey, we got Joe Berman from the bunker. He says, how you doing, baby? He's on our Spreaker feed. If you want to watch us on YouTube, you can find us on GameHounds Vids, VIDS. And you can also find us on Facebook,
Okay, I
on our
gotta check
Facebook
on
page,
him.
The GameHounds. So, since we just lost Nick to the cat,
You can mute his mic while he's away, so we don't hear all the.
that right now.
I do that when guys do the kerfuffle in the background. I'm like, I'm just gonna mute you for a second.
Yep, he is now muted. Maybe we should just leave him there all the time. You'd love that.
No, this thing is beating me down, so I like Nick now.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Now,
Wow.
now I do. When things go back
This
to
is
normal,
bad.
it is terrible.
What you been playing? Anything interesting?
Yeah, actually, I've out of nowhere, but then again, I've kind of been everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Remastered just released on the PS4 yesterday, and just the campaign. And I picked that up. It was $20. Like, something. For some reason, I actually was playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 the other day. I was like, okay, I've been playing my sports games here and the whole bit, but I says, I want to go and get back on the couch. And so I was gonna like do The Witcher or Skyrim or something, but I was like, no, let me just shoot some stuff. And so that come out yesterday. I was like, holy cow. I'll pick this up and I'll play this. So I started playing that, and boy, there's a couple of missions in that campaign. If you remember, it was Modern Warfare 2 is what I picked up. I have 1 and 2, but it just released. It was $20 in a PS4, and I don't know if did you guys play the campaign for that Modern Warfare 2?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Not really. I just no.
That's the one that had the no Russian mission.
Yeah.
Right.
So I played that last
That
night.
I
I
think
heard
that was
they were
one of the
gonna
high point of their campaigns.
I heard they were going to take that out, but they left it in, and you can skip it if you want. So I did. So I get to after that. There was a couple of missions. If Nick, remember the one where you're going through the shanty village, and you jump
Yeah.
in, and it's like there's 500 guys shooting at you, and he's like, "Go, go, go! We can't let this guy get away." And I'm like, "There's 500 people shooting at me. He's gonna get away."
Yeah.
And I'm on puss mode. So I jumped out and I'm getting riddled with bullets and I'm dying and I'm jumping in. I'm trying to shoot everybody. I'm trying to run and chase the guy. Go, 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 get him, And I come around the corner, there's guys with RPGs. It's like, it was just, come on. How am I supposed to fight 500 guys while chasing somebody through all these little shanty streets? And then I'm getting lost and I'm going in circles and I can't find my way up the hill.
Yeah.
And so I got through that. I was like, okay, just get me through this stinking mission. This is stupid. And then what happened? Another mission did the same thing. It was like you're fighting all these people, and I just kept on dying. I'm like, man, I remember now that this was not one of my better campaigns. So there was some fun things about that, but this campaign there, when you got to chase somebody and you got to go, but you're still killing, probably 150 people on the way through. It's just, and you're getting riddled with bullets. It was like, it's just not realistic. And I know it's a game, but it's like, come on. That was, and I got there and I just got to the end. I was like, oh, good, that's done. I'm never going to do that again. Let me just get over this. So I picked up that and played some of that. I just think I was just not in a good mood for gaming because that irritated me. Then I tried to play some grid racing game last night and I was all over the place. I was like, screw this. I had a bad night of gaming last night, just with some of the missions that I did. But I started reading a book, if you can believe it. And
look at you.
You can read?
Look at all
I have a
grown up.
lot of books I bought. I just haven't, because I went to one of these. I was actually looking for old video games, or like one of these Salvation Armies type places there. I don't know what they're actually called. And they had a ton of books, and they were like just a couple of bucks or so. So I picked up this one book called Icebound, and it had a cool cover on it. And I love like Antarctic stories. I don't know why. I just like the snow and everything about the Antarctic. And I've read a few books of that. So I picked this one up for a couple bucks. It's just been sitting on my shelf for probably a couple of years. So I said, well, I'm out. Good time to read this book. So I picked it up, and like the first couple, I looked, it was written in 1999 or 2000. So it's 20 years old. So it's like, oh, well, the technology in the book, I got to keep that in mind. There's probably not a lot of communications and cell phones and high technology stuff. So I got to keep that in mind. But the reviews, and they're like, this is like such a fast-paced book. Yeah, I am reading it. And it's like, it just nonstop. It's Indiana Jones in Antarctica. And I'm like, oh, but this got a lot of
that's pretty cool.
So I'm like, okay, fine, right? So I pick it up and I start reading the first few pages, right? And it's about a base in Antarctica, and his divers down in the water, and they find a cave, and they go in the cave, and something starts happening, right? And they lose the divers. So they send more divers down into the water, go into the cave to try to find out what's going on. And they the last transmission from that second group was, there's a spaceship in here. And I was like, that was so cool. And I was like, no way. I go, that was awesome. It was. So the first few pages, like, it hit me real hard. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is just what I need right now. Good action book. And so now I get two teams of U.S. troops on hovercrafts hovering over the snow, going through the blizzard, because they can't get there because of the blizzard. They can't get there by air. They can't get there by sea. They can't really drive. So they're taking hovercrafts to go to the place and find out what's going on. And I was like, oh, I like this. Already I'm into this book. I'm only like 10 pages in, but it's already got me. I'm like, yeah, that's just what I needed. No, it's not Icebound by Dean Koontz. It's Icebound by... Oh man, it wasn't. Oh no, it was not Icebound by Dean Koontz. Let me see if I can.
It is
book.
Icebound by Rick
Cat.
Spencer.
No,
No.
Icebound, Barnes and Noble. I don't know if it's one word or two word. It might even be one word. Icebound. Oh
David Axton.
no.
Man, Dean Koontz is the one that's all over.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah, it's
seeing-
not coming up on Barnes and Noble. I'll have to go upstairs and get it at one of the breaks there. But yeah, it wasn't Dean Koontz. Oh man. This guy, he had a few other books that he did too. It was 20, it's 20 years old. How about Icebound 1999? Icebound.
There's Icebound, two words. That's a book by Jerry Nielsen and Marianne Vollers about doctors, physicians stranded at the South Pole with the one that had breast cancer and had to treat herself for breast cancer on the South Pole.
I'll go upstairs. I'll get it there when I go up for a ginger ale. I'll go get it and look
right.
it up there. But yeah, so it's really good. It's just a a science fiction type of book there, and I believe that's what it's called. I believe it's called Icebound.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's not Icebound because otherwise something would have shown up, and I am not seeing anything.
I'll go get it when Nick starts to talk. I'll go up and get it, and I'll find out what it is.
Yeah,
but so I've been reading a book, and that's been pretty fun. So I've been enjoying that. I've been trying to. I'm looking actually right now on Xbox.com, looking at the backwards library there because I want to go back and play some old games. So I want to maybe do some of that. The only thing is you can't stream on Xbox, and I like to stream some of my stuff and chat with people. Oh, and I hooked up my Elgato capture device.
Oh, okay.
To my Retron 5, and I started playing some Sega hockey.
Oh,
and you can
really?
play it. Yeah, and with the Elgato device, you can play it right on the computer. You don't even need a monitor because it's almost zero lag. Not quite zero lag, but almost zero lag. And so you can so I can stream it. I actually recorded a couple of periods of the game and put it up. So but I can go back and over here. Where my finger is, all those games up there, those are all my Sega hockey games up there. There's probably 13 of them.
Where are they?
Way up there in the corner. Okay, right up where my finger is. These are all my old Sega hockey games, okay? And I could actually start popping those in. I was going to do a whole series on Sega hockey games and like play one game at a time, and I have, do a little series of it. So yeah, so I think I'm going to go back and play all those games and show off what the different features of the game and show some gameplay and now I can do all that right here on the computer now that I hooked it up. I can even do it with the PS2 too because it's all just HDMI right in the Elgato, and I have Xbox original, so I can hook up all those now to my computer and capture footage. It's going to be yucky quality, but compared to the stuff. But I mean,
right?
It's something I always wanted to do. I said I want to go back and I want to do a series of all the Sega games that I played, Sega hockey games, because there's a ton of them. There is a ton of them. If I tilt my camera up there, yeah, you see them all up there. There's a ton of them up there in the corner. There's a whole bunch up there. Yeah. So I mean, it starts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There might be 16 or 17. I'm gonna go all the way to the red one there. That's a lot of Sega hockey games to go over there. And then
that's a lot of Sega hockey games to keep around for no damn good reason.
I got them all pretty cheap. You can pick them up for a couple of bucks, And so I wanted to complete my Sega hockey collection. I just did. That was my thing. I wanted my Sega hockey collection complete. And I even got some games that were only available overseas too. I got a couple in there as well. So I have my Sega hockey collection. I can go over and do that. I can even do it with a PS2. So basically any game here behind me, I can now pump into the computer and do a video on. So that's kind of fun. So
fun fact, David Axton is another name for Dean Koontz.
I'm gonna go get that. So Nick, you talk.
I did not know that.
I'm gonna go get that book. I gotta find out what it is.
Is that real or is that fake news? David Axton is a pseudonym for Dean Koontz.
I'd assume it's real. Why would AC Wraith lie to us?
Because it's freaking April Fools. Just because we're not participating doesn't mean they're not pulling it on us, dude. I don't trust anything I hear.
I think
read,
you're
or
just
see.
paranoid.
Not today. He says it's real.
Of course you'd say that, Wraith.
So, Nick, what have you been playing?
I played a couple things. I finished The Sinking City, that Lovecraftian open world game. And it was good.
Yeah.
It was like a solid, 3 out of 5. I think it. I like the story. I like the atmosphere. I liked going around the town and kind of doing the investigating and having to figure out where things go. But there was a lot of things that got in the way of just playing. There's too much combat. It's a little slow to get around. A lot of times, Ice Station.
I messed up. It was Ice Station by Matt Riley.
Ah, I knew it
Yeah.
couldn't have been
I thought
that.
it was
I
pretty
knew that it
calm.
couldn't have been that.
But yeah, so he does a book called Temple Area 7, which is probably pretty good. Contest and Scarecrow. So yeah, so this
It does
so far
sound
looks
kind of
pretty
neat.
good. Yeah, look at the cover's like pretty sweet though, right?
Yeah. Oop, sorry.
That's all right.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like how it
Here. There you go.
ended.
Make it big.
Uh,
Ice Station by Matt Riley. Okay. There you go.
Grabs you like seeing a
Seeing
Glock
a
pointed
Glock
at your
pointed
head.
at your head if you want action, and I mean serious action, then pick up Riley's
Matt
Ice
Riley's Ice
Station.
Station. Richard Marchenko, who we have no idea who he is. You're gonna make me read the whole thing?
No.
No.
How about this? At the bottom of the globe,
Oh yeah, this
in
is
the coldest
Matthew.
place on Earth, the heat is on. The international bestseller.
International
International-
bestseller that we
what-
couldn't find on Google.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Well,
that's
'cause I
because
put
we
in the
were
wrong
looking
one.
at Icebound. I
True.
found Ice Station in Amazon, and apparently it is book 1 of 5 of the Shane Schofield thrillers.
Oh,
You are correct.
goalie.
You've got plenty. You've got plenty ahead of you, goalie.
Oh, see, I knew we could cheer you up.
A fast-paced thriller. Nick, look at you. Was it? Yeah, a Shane Schoenfield thriller. Oh, books in the series. All right. All of them. Area 7, Scarecrow, Hell Island. Oh, Hell Island and Scarecrow. So Scarecrow returns. Oh, Scarecrow returns.
I don't even know who's Scarecrow. What?
Well, there was Scarecrow, and then there was Scarecrow Returns. So Scarecrow must
okay.
be good enough that it requires 2 books.
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know who or what Scarecrow is, but it's serious.
Yep.
And there's a Kindle edition too, so I can buy them if I don't have to wait for shipping. $8. Wow, they're still $8 and they're 20 years old, huh? All right, so I got a good one. I bought a good one. Yay, yay, yay me, yay me, yay. Where's my toilet paper? Did you go back and watch last week's?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
All right. So you were talking about the sinking city.
Oh yeah, Sinking City. It's fine. There's like I feel like I've said everything that I needed to say.
How was the
The-
end? Was it
The
worth
investigation
worth the
stuff.
investment of time?
Yeah. Like I didn't hate it. There's multiple endings that you can get to kind of fit whichever way you're playing. And what's nice is like all the endings were kind of available at the end at the same time, so I could kind of see all of them without having to replay the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, I really like the investigative aspects of it. It did at times feel a little drawn out because like these guys, the Throgmorns, the ape dudes,
Mm-hmm.
they're really big and prominent in the beginning, but then after you complete the side mission with them, they just kind of completely fall to the wayside of the story. And like the way the story progresses is you're trying to find the source of this madness. And so you kind of get a clue, and it's like, oh, Throgmorton might know the answer to this. So I go to him, and then he has, oh, well, I've got a whole quest for you to do. And I spend, 2-3 hours doing that. And then he says, okay, here's the piece of information you need. And that takes me to the Carpenter family. And then they're like, oh, but here's this other, we need you to do this other thing. And so it's a lot of, the main quest is a lot of go see Guy X. Guy X has a kind of separate, unrelated issue that he wants you to solve. You solve that. The Guy X sends you to Guy Y. guy Y also has a separate kind of unrelated issue he wants you to solve. And so it's a lot of like going forward, then going to the side, then going forward, then going to the side. Uh,
Nobody does anything for free. They want you to do
yeah,
something before they give
exactly.
you something. Yes,
And
standard fare.
it's all interesting because it all kind of they all play around with like the Lovecraftian mythos and the setting, and each of the side quests kind of adds a different adds a new twist to the world. Um, so they were never boring, but at a certain point it was like, oh my god, just fucking give me the information I need without sending me on all this goose chase everywhere.
Right.
Um, but I thought the endings held up. The endings were fine for the type of game. There's nothing particularly special about it. I
Mhm.
think overall I enjoyed uh, Call of Cthulhu more because it just felt like a tighter experience, just a more focused.
Usually they are better.
Yeah, it's just a shorter, more focused.
You want a tighter experience. It makes for a way better time, Nick. It really
Oh,
does.
oh yeah, all the time,
Mm. Hmm.
all the
You
time. I don't
guys
want a
suck.
loose experience.
No,
I
no. You
don't
want
want
a
to.
nice. You want
I
to
Well, you
don't
need to
feel
always
it.
have
want a
you
You
need
want
to
to
big
start
feel it.
out
open
with a loose
world.
experience in order to get the tight experience,
You want to
generally
feel it,
speaking.
Nick.
No, no.
You want to
Once you
feel
go
like
open world, you can't go back.
I
That's
want
pretty
an
good.
I want an open world relationship.
Yeah,
So, yeah, we were talking about the game,
yeah. The Singing City, and
gentlemen.
yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. All
It was good. It was worth the like $12 that I bought it for on sale. It was
right. Mm-hmm.
absolutely worth that.
Good.
And then
And then
I
anything
actually
else?
played some Round God because it was free
Round
on.
guard.
Yeah, it was free on the Apple Arcade. This was a game that you mentioned a week ago or a couple weeks ago. It was like an RPG Peggle.
Oh yes, I totally forgot about that. That I
Yeah.
had mentioned that. Okay.
Uh, it's I'm glad that like I got it for free with well, free with Apple Arcade. But yeah, it is an RPG Peggle with kind of all the pros and cons that comes with it. It's definitely Peggle in that you have a little ball up top that you shoot down and it bounces around a bunch of stuff like a pachinko game. Uh, but as someone who enjoyed Peggle for at most like 30 minutes at a time and then thought, okay, I'm good with this for a month. I don't need to play this again. I play this for, 10 minutes and I'm kind of like, okay, I've seen everything that it has to show. Like, I've seen
Mm-hmm.
it all. Um, the RPG aspects are neat and kind of clever, but since it is a roguelike, it does have that frustration of essentially being random. Because so what you get into is each of these rooms, you want to kill the monsters. Like you don't need to hit all the pots. Like Peggle, you need to clear all the pegs. In this game, you don't need to do that. You just have to kill all of the monsters. Um, but that gets kind of frustrating because the way the monsters work, some of them are long ranged, and so they can shoot at you. And so there are times when you'll drop your little guy into the game screen, and all of a sudden 5 arrows come at you from all angles
Mm-hmm.
to hit you, and you can't really do anything about it. And that's the more frustrating part. As an RPG, once I shoot my guy out into the screen, I can't really do anything. Some of them have different abilities. Like right now, you're looking at the thief, and they have a double jump, which is basically as they're in the air, like you just saw in the video. As you're in the air, you can then like bounce someplace else, and that's neat. But it's still not really any sort of offensive move. Like I have to hit the guys and actually bounce against them to do damage. But if there are a lot of situations that I've gotten into where I've shot my guy out, he's bounced around, and then when he lands, all of a sudden I've lost half my health because I've gotten attacked by long range people shooting arrows. I've bounced against enraged enemies who will do extra damage to me when I hit them. Uh, I myself have become vulnerable, which means I take more damage when I get hit because there's a lot of the pots that you can hit will give you those sorts of status effects, And so, after one shot, suddenly my health is halfway gone, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this now? Because it is it's not just an RPG, it's a roguelike.
Mm-hmm.
And so for every level you go into, your progress, like your mana, your health, whatever equipment you have, that all carries over into the next screen. And you build on that and build on that to just go as far as you can in this little obstacle course. Like you might get through World 1, there's a map here, and once you get to the end of the map, there's a boss, and then you go on to another map. And so you just do that over and over again to see how long you can go, how much money you can accumulate. But it's like, has an RPG, it never feels like I have enough control, and has a Peggle game. It's a good Peggle game, but it's also just a Peggle game, which like is at best kind of a good mindless 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a perfectly fine game to play on Apple Arcade, having spent no real money on it. But unless you're really into Peggle, I don't. It's not a game that I'll see myself really going back to that often. So
I gotta
that's
finish
Realm Guard.
Cthulhu. I'm gonna go back to Cthulhu and finish that.
Yeah, Cthulhu was really good.
That's a good one. So I'm reading here. So this guy, Matthew Riley, he's got an upcoming book coming in the fall called The Secret Runners.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about an upcoming global apocalypse.
Is it a
on.
pandemic
I
apocalypse?
can't believe that there are so many games that are, or so many things on Netflix that are top of the list that have to do with pandemics. It's like,
That's because that's what people are watching.
I don't need to see this shit. I really don't. I'm already living it. I do not need to see details about what pandemics are and how this was completely predictable and all that other stuff.
I
know,
get
right?
the idea, because the idea of the movies is that at the end of it you solve it one way or another.
Well, no, there's
Either
actually
you contain it or it destroys humanity.
one of the top ones on Netflix is a documentary, is a multi-series documentary, whereas the opening one is this guy that travels all around the world and actually has him in China. And he said, our greatest fear is that there will be a novel virus, probably a coronavirus, that comes from the meat markets or somebody acquiring it from an animal, and it mutates and can become zoonotic, that can infect humans, and that it runs rampant. And a hotspot for this is China, because so many people are going in.
When
and
was this made?
This was, I don't know when it was made, but it was made long enough ago that it was out already on Netflix. And this one guy, white hair, an old guy, he just goes from place to place to place, hunting down these viruses as they're emerging. And
I mean,
saying,
again, I
yeah,
understand
that's
that,
the greatest nightmare as this happened. And of course, that's
I mean, the
what
whole
we're in
point
right
of
now.
watching that is to understand it, right? To understand what's going on.
Right. And it's not
I
just
get the
him, it's a bunch
desire
of
to
other
watch it.
people looking into big cities and little cities about what would happen to the healthcare systems if a pandemic happens. And it's like, oh shit, dude, we are in this. Holy crap. Like, they have this little teeny tiny town in Oklahoma where it's one doctor, and the doctor literally lives in the hospital, and it's the only hospital for miles and miles and miles. And they have like 8 beds, and she's on for 1 week and off for 1 week, and she and her husband live in the hospital because she's the only doctor for a week.
It's almost like you could see the disaster coming.
Yeah, it's almost like you could see the disaster coming. So, we got AC Wraith has linked Matthew Riley, MatthewRiley.com. And we got Greg Swanee in the chat room who says, if the new consoles ever come out, do you guys have any preferences on which one? It's all going to come down to price. And there's a lot of rumors going around about what the price is going to be.
Especially now with people going to be out of work.
Yeah, it's also going to be
Yeah,
exactly how much money is actually out there for disposable income. I'm sure that is playing into their decision of what's going to cost, because the costs are going up since China is kind of closed to production at the moment. And the amount of discretionary income is going down, I could see them delaying this thing for a year at least.
Well,
I
I've
think I
said
think they're gonna,
before.
if they're smart, they'll delay it for a year.
I've said before. I always lean toward PlayStation just because I'm in that ecosystem now.
I could go
Right.
either way.
I've bought so many games on PSN digitally at this point. It's like, well, I don't want to lose all those.
Okay, totally random question from the chat room. Bumbo's asking what Ice Age movie is our favorite.
I've only seen the first one.
never seen any of them. I don't have kids. I don't even need any.
The first one was entertaining enough.
I'm not a
It's
big
just a
fan
solid.
of these Star Vehicle animated films that started like after Robin Williams was in Aladdin. All of a sudden, I just don't find them very good, with the exception of Nemo. And I enjoyed Nemo, but I never watched anything beyond that. Not a big fan of those kind of animation. The ones that are essentially created for Will Smith and or his ilk.
I don't think Will Smith has ever done an animated movie.
Yeah, he
Oh,
does.
yeah, he did. He did Shark Tale.
Yes, exactly.
That was a bad movie though.
No, Will Smith's done a lot of animated movies, I want to say. Go chat room. How many animated movies has Will Smith been in? And yeah, so me and my games. The only game that I have played this week was Frostpunk. I went back to it just very, very briefly last night. I've not been doing a lot of gaming just because I've got a lot of stuff going on with multiple shows and podcasts and emergency preparedness, and I've been volunteering a lot to do stuff for my community while we're doing the shelter in place. And also I've had real terrible insomnia because I'm not on a regular schedule.
I'm the same way. Yep.
Yeah. That you stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning, or you try to go to sleep earlier and you can't go to sleep. So you end up being up until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, something wakes you up and you keep waking up throughout the night. And then you end up
tired,
sleeping in
yep.
until noon. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm just starting to get off of a really bad bout of that. But so I haven't had a lot of time to game. But Frostpunk, I was not. I kind of jumped into it a little bit when I was quite some time ago, and I didn't. I wasn't that impressed with it. This is a like a what would you call it? A strategic sim game where you have to build. It's settlement building game, and it's also settlement building and survival, where you have to you're head of a bunch of people in a post apocalyptic frozen world, and you lead them to a place where there is a generator. These generators, that thing in the center, is a generator that emits heat, and you create a settlement around it by building, and you start with just a few survivors
like
of a crash, and then you have to kind of you deal with creating laws that either make it an okay place to live or a not so great place to live. So you're constantly
it's a post-apocalyptic game in an Arctic wasteland.
in an Arctic wasteland.
Like that's why everyone's gathered around the heater.
Right. And as the leader of this settlement, you not only direct building and resources and have to worry about that, but you also direct politics and laws that might help your settlement to be able to withstand stuff by getting more resources, but makes your people unhappy so they could revolt against you and overturn you. You have two sliders, one of which is hope and the other one is discontent, and you've constantly got to keep your hope up and your discontent low. But if you do that all the time, then nobody's going to be working and you're all going to freeze to death. So you're constantly balancing the hope and the discontent with all of your decisions, and it's pretty involved. And I'm gonna go back to it. I think that this is a good. It's a slow game. It's not something that you play with, quickly. It's not a button masher of any kind, and it's very strategic and slow. And that's kind of what I need to relax, is just creating a society that works. I think this is a better game. It was originally created for the PC. I think this is a better game for the PC than it is for the console. It works fine on the console as far as controls. The problem is that the detail of being able to see your
the games like this you want to play on the PC. I was looking at
Yeah.
this game myself, but it looked like it got a little too
Oh,
busy for me.
It's very busy.
But it was on my wish list. I'm like, boy, this looks really kind of neat. But yeah, this is a game that you want to click with the mouse, and it's way easier.
Yeah, it's way easier. It's not so much the controls, it's the graphics that you can see even just looking at this screen, that you can zoom in, but even the zoom in is not very far. And the first settlement I started, I realized that I had placed all of the roads wrong, and wasted a bunch of space because I couldn't really see where the end of each building was, where the borders of the buildings were. Where I think that if I was looking at a PC on a screen right in front of me versus a screen across the room, it would have been obvious. So I think this is a better game on the PC, but it's certainly good enough on the console, and I'm going to continue by playing it on the console because that's what I bought it for. So, but it's good. It's solid. Let's see. Where is AC Wraith says Will Smith had 3 voice acting roles. I knew it.
So no, one of them was a commercial, but I did forget he was literally just in a movie called Spies in Disguise that just came out like a couple months ago. So he has 2, that and Shark Tale.
Yeah, one is counted twice for a commercial. Okay.
So yeah, he doesn't do a lot of voice acting. I've also heard Spies in Disguise is really good, and I kind of want to see it.
Yep. So, how did we get on to Ice Age movies of all things? Oh, maybe because I was talking about Frostbite.
Random question. Now the better question is, what Madagascar movie have you seen?
I've never seen a Madagascar movie.
No, me either.
Neither have I. I always link those 2 franchises together, though.
Yeah, that's exactly. I stick to Pixar. I really do.
Yeah.
I
You should branch out.
yeah, no.
Boy, this
Yeah.
Matthew Riley guy, he's got a ton of books, and they're all 4.5 stars. No joke.
Yeah. It's
This
consistent
guy,
thriller.
yeah. This
You might have
guy's-
to start a Matthew Riley podcast.
I take forever to read, though. I really do. I'm not a.
You really?
I'm not a
That's
yeah.
why the podcast is just you reading it out loud.
Yeah, I have to pace myself. Otherwise, I just consume way too many books. If I'm left to my own devices, I will kill a book every day to 2 days.
The only problem though, some of his stuff is like a series of 3 or 4 or 5 books, and it's like I got to read them all now. So
Well, I wonder about that because, like, I imagine that
Bumbo says there is no good Madagascar movie.
good answer. Good answer.
like that. What's his name? Like the Sean Schofield, Spencer Schofield,
Yeah.
the guy, that series of that Ice Station is the first one of. I don't imagine most of those are linked. I imagine those are all pretty standalone adventures, except maybe
loosely.
Scarecrow Returns.
Yeah.
It's like in the same way what that like Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger are sequels or prequels to one another. It's like, yeah, they got the same guy in the same universe and they're written by the same person, but they're complete standalone adventures on their own. I imagine that's what a lot of those books are like.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So on that note, by the way, AC Wraith says no. It was Corey Wallace who said the new Elder Scrolls Online mount is a wooden stick horse, which I love that. AC Wraith says maybe Grandpa met Matthew Riley and his stories are real.
Oh, could be. Yes, it is. You know what's weird is I'm looking at some of his stuff here. The hardcovers are cheaper to buy off of Amazon than the paperbacks. It's messed up. I just picked up a hardcover for $5 with free shipping. The paperbacks are like 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll go hardcover of some of these, I guess.
Huh.
And Joe Cabbage wants to know, since we're all day drinking in our bunkers, what's our favorite day drinkers drink? Oh, the best thing about this, there's been some good things that have come out of this COVID
the best
shutdown.
thing about a pandemic is the excuse to day drink.
The best thing about the pandemic is the combination of the excuse to day drink and beer and wine delivery. Oh my God. All of the breweries around me, which there are a number of craft breweries around me, all deliver now. I have wine and beer delivered to my door. And it's fantastic. Bottle of wine for $10. A $10 bottle of wine, Goalie. A $10 bottle of wine delivered to my door. I'll show you. What I mean. This is how I'm suffering.
But can you get an $8 bottle of wine?
I cannot get an $8 bottle of wine, but I will share this with you. This is my local pub that's right around the corner. I could walk to it easily. I mean, it's 2 blocks from my house.
I think we've been there.
You and I have been there, right?
Yeah.
So their restaurant is closed down. So what they're doing is 3 days a week, they're making food and then delivering it, making full meals and delivering it. And this is their Thursdays menu that are shaved ribeye sandwiches with grilled onions. You make it yourself. They send everything to you and you just build it. Beef bolognese with rigatoni pasta, smoked. They'll send you steaks. We did these 2 steaks for Kevin's 50th birthday, which was on the 28th. He had to do it inside, so we ordered 2 of these marinated steaks. They were unbelievable, and they come with all the instructions of how to cook them. Chicken tikka masala. We've got craft beer battered onion rings. We can have a 5-pack of Tromer pills for $10. Delivered, bottle of wine for $10, all of that delivered right to my door, and banana bread, a crate of eggs, and this is there it is right there. Look at that, $25, half rack of St. Louis smoked ribs, plus corn and what is it, with scalloped potatoes and bacon and blue cheese Brussels sprouts. And all of that is delivered, pre-cooked. All you have to do is finish it off in your kitchen.
Yeah, it's good, but the problem is that we started doing that, but it gets expensive eating out. It gets real expensive eating out, especially when you're unemployed with no money.
Yeah.
It's like, we do it sparingly. It's just like, okay, I need to eat oatmeal tonight, and then tomorrow I need to eat Cheerios, and then maybe the next day I could order out.
So to answer your question, Joe, my day drinking is wine. That's what I've been day drinking. I have had a couple of shots of some pretty good scotch. I got a nice 12-year-old. That's what she said. I have a nice 12-year-old scotch that I've taken a couple of nips from.
I have a nice 12-year-old in your basement.
That's what Michael Jackson said.
Okay, that fits better.
The old joke. What's the best thing about what's Michael Jackson's favorite 24-year-olds? Their favorite thing about 24-year-olds? There's 20 of them. Inappropriate. Total inappropriate humor. So yeah, Joe Cabbage says he's drinking margaritas. I can't do a margarita. That's just way too much sugar for me.
No, margaritas are good. I'd love to make a margarita. I don't have any of the things to do that.
Yeah,
I'd probably just say like a Moscow Mule because that's what I drink normally.
Yeah.
Day drink's the same as a night drink.
Yeah, Goalie's not drinking because He knows if you drink too much, you get sick, and that's the last
Well,
thing you want to do
yeah,
right now.
yeah. I mean, I've been walking every day, twice a day. It's been cold, and I've been having like runny noses just because I've been out in the cold. And like, man, as much as I get the stuff here, I could make a nice scorpion bowl. I could get drunk and really try to just ride this thing out, totally oblivious. Yeah, if I get sick of any kind, I don't want to be going to the hospital or the doctor right now with sickness of any kind. So I'm really, I'm walking.
That's probably the worst place to be at the moment.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So I'm doing good with I'm not overeating, I'm not drinking, I'm walking, I'm actually losing some weight, and just I'm trying to just be healthy right now. When this is over, okay, if this does pass, now I'm supposed to have my heart procedure in a couple of months. I don't even know if that's gonna happen. So I won't
It
be
ain't
able
gonna
to.
happen.
So, well, as opposed to dying, I don't know what they're gonna do. They might say, "Sorry, dude, you're gonna die." It's like, okay,
No,
thanks.
they're not going to say sorry, you're going to die, but they might try and delay it out depending on what the hospitals look like in a couple of months.
Yeah. Well, I got my appointment in a month from now, in early May. So we'll see if the guys even open in early May. Who knows? It might be. I mean, we might get through April and be surprised at the results that we have, and certain things might start opening. We'll see. So, but I am going to get so wrecked once it's safe to do so.
Me too. I think a lot of people are going to get wrecked. We're all going to get wrecked and hug each other and touch our faces. Just rub our faces constantly.
I'm gonna rub my face on everybody I see.
On everybody I see. I'm going to take my hands and just go to
I mean,
everybody.
like a cat, always just getting right up in there.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, that's bad. AC Ray says I don't drink, but I ate a bunch of frosting modified into fudge last night. Wow, you have hit a
Huh.
new low. Frosting turned into fudge? Can you do that?
I don't.
Should
No.
you do that?
You shouldn't do that because frosting is better than fudge. Frosting
Actually,
is
right.
light and fun. Fudge is like you take a bite and then you hate
You're done.
yourself.
Yeah.
Fudge is too thick. Don't make it into fudge. Just eat the frosting. Eat twice as much frosting as you would fudge to get the same amount of chocolate.
I'm good with that. So, are we ready to hit the news? We actually do have news this week, and it's not all coronavirus related.
Okay.
All right, let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Reedy, Holy Goalie, Nick D. Nicola, and our first item is, gentlemen.
Okay.
Something's been
I got-
delayed.
I got tons of stuff. First thing, our favorite retailer, GameStop. Yay! So
All right.
remember, they kept everybody at work. And then they got busted by the state of Pennsylvania for being a non-essential service, and they got fined. They got their business license revoked because they were defying the stay-home order and the essential businesses order by the state of Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania booted them out, and then they shut down all their stores. Well, apparently, that didn't last very long. Shortly after they shut down all the stores, they sent everyone back to work last Friday, despite orders to shut down non-essential businesses, saying that we are an essential business because we provide electronics products that are necessary for teleconferencing in addition to games. So they sent all their workers back, and they told their workers, and this is true, to wrap a plastic bag around one hand to protect it from the virus, and to hand people would order online, and they would wrap the bag around their hand and take the money, put it in, run the cards with the bag over their hand, and then take a game and put it in their hands and stick it through the door.
Yeah, because what they said is that they're not allowing people into the store. You can only do curbside pickup. So the idea is that they do this whole bag trick. Like they open the door a little bit, grab the person's credit card, run it, do it, put the game in there, and then hand it back out, and no one goes into the store. But it just, the fact that they're going to that length kind of shows you their desperation. And I think I've seen other people talk about this before, that they know if they close for a month that they won't open again.
Right. Yeah. There was a 24-year-old manager who was quoted in the in media who wanted to stay anonymous because he was afraid to lose his job. He says it almost seemed like a prank, and that he felt like they were being treated like animals, and the employees are not okay now. GameStop has said that with employee and customer safety as our paramount concern, all of our stores remain closed to customer access, including those in Massachusetts. We are processing orders on a digital basis through our new curbside delivery at door shipping service. Blah, 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 blah. While GameStop is best known as a provider of gaming and home entertainment systems, we also offer a wide array of products and devices that are important to facilitate remote work, distance learning, and virtual connectivity, which is bullshit. And to go back to what you said, Nick, about GameStop being worried that if they close their stores, they will never reopen. Already, they have announced once. Actually, it came before this thing opened on Friday. They closed their stores on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we talked about it last week. On Thursday, they made the announcement that they were closing permanently 320 of their stores. So the whole let's keep it open because it's desperate was a thing. I mean, they immediately announced permanent closure of 300 stores. And then they opened up on Friday, and we'll see. We'll see if they stay open. But nobody should be shopping at GameStop. Don't buy.
I don't
from
know
GameStop.
if I bought anything in 2-3 years from GameStop, and I was the member, and they had one up the street I could walk to, and I don't know what happened with GameStop. It just turned into a lot of digital stuff, and I didn't like the idea that I was going to buy a new game that wasn't in the wrapper. That really burned me.
Yeah.
And
it just kind of got more and more desperate.
It was just convenient to go up there and grab a game, and when I did the disc thing, but I don't play quite as many new games anymore. I really don't. And the idea that you can pre-download stuff digitally, that helps too, because you can play it right at midnight, and the whole bit. So
Corey Wallace says, after they walk away, put said bag over your head. Yeah, pretty much. And AC Wraith wants to clarify the making of frosting into fudge. It's pretty much frosting with nuts tossed in and placed in the freezer. Wow.
Okay.
That is shameful. It truly is. You should hang your head. That is the audio version of what you just ate.
That's fun.
Oh God, that's just. Next item. Do you have anything, Nick?
Yeah, just has a heads up I just found. Monument Valley 2 and Lara Croft Go are both free on iOS at the moment. They're both normally, paid games that are like $5 to $10 each.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're both now completely free to download and keep. And those are both two very good mobile games.
What platform is it again?
iOS. I don't know if it's on Android. I didn't see that. But yeah, I downloaded them right away. So
okay.
Yeah, two games that are absolutely worth getting.
Okay.
Other than that, though, there are a couple like big coronavirus related sales. The Humble Bundle is offering this big package for $30. So pay $30 or more, and you can get a bundle with. Ooh, this is going to be a big list. Into the Breach, which is a tactics game that was very, very well regarded. I'm waiting for it to come to consoles. Undertale, Hollow Knight, Wizard of Legend, totally accurate battle simulator, The Witness, Super Hot, Tilt Brush by Google, Lego Batman 3, Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, Fahrenheit, which is the remaster of Indigo Prophecy, Killing Floor, Darksiders 1 Remaster, Sniper Elite 3, This is the Police, Brothers, Stick Fight the Game, Jackbox, Party Pack, Party Hard, Worms Revolution, Europea, Universalis 4, Broken Age, Nog, Tropico, Brutal Legends, Psychonauts, Double Fine, and I'm only like halfway through.
Yeah, it's
Uh, so
massive.
you can get all those, and including a whole bunch of books. Some of them are comic books, like you can get the first volume of Lock and Key, The Boys, Saga, Oblivion Song, which are all great. Um, there's also just a bunch of like fiction, uh, or just like self-help books. There's a lot of mood elevator, coping skills, mindfulness for kids. Uh, but yeah, all that for $30, which is a shockingly fantastic deal. So yeah, go check out Humble Bundle for that.
Automate the boring stuff with Python. I'm okay with that. Yeah, this is huge.
Yeah, it's the Conquer COVID-19 bundle, and it as of this recording, as of right now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it is available for the next 6 days.
6 days, no hours, 17 minutes, 57 seconds. Yeah,
Yep.
I may pick that up. I may pick that up. My next item is I have it here. Stand by. Official Xbox magazine is no more. The little magazine that covered all things Xbox.
Didn't they go to Europe? Weren't they in Europe only now?
No, they've been here.
I thought, because I used to subscribe to them, and then I got rid of them, and I thought that they get rid of all American offices and went over overseas, and they were only in the UK. I mean, you could buy it here, but I thought that everything moved over there. I thought I read something about that because
Possibly.
I follow them a little bit on Twitter, and I remember seeing how it was basically they packed up shop, but they were still going to have some people in the UK working on it, and it was just kind of a skeleton crew. And I there's really no need for those magazines anymore.
Yeah. The company the publishing company that owns official Xbox magazine is a company called Future Publications, and they publish. It's not the only gaming magazine they do. They also have the official PlayStation magazine, although they shuttered, I think, 5 or 6 different titles, and official Xbox was the only one that was a gaming magazine that they closed down. The quote was, like many organizations right now, we find ourselves being forced into making difficult decisions. We have the duty of care to all our staff during this time, and our focus is on protecting the business for them and for our customers. We have introduced a raft of measures to keep the numbers of layoffs to an absolute minimum, including significant pay cuts for our executive team and board. Whilst the decline in retail footfall impacts our magazine business, we are well placed with significant digital audiences and diversified revenues to continue delivering on our customers' changing needs at this time. So, official Xbox magazine's been around for 20 plus years, and so this last issue was the last issue.
When was it? Was it Dan Amrick and Ryan did that back in the day? Or was that the podcast they did?
Dan Amrick?
Dan Amrick and Ryan McCafferty. Ryan Cafferty. They
Nick
did a
might know
podcast.
that better.
Those names sound familiar.
Dan Amrick now, yeah, he does the One of Swords there on Twitter. But they did the podcast back in the day. It was so good. In fact, they did some videos on the Xbox 360 a handful of times.
I am looking him up right now.
But they were big. But when Dan Amrick left, it was just Ryan, and then Ryan left the podcast.
Yeah, by the way, he's a neighbor of mine. When I say neighbor, it's like the next city over. Social media.
I don't think
let's
that
see.
counts. I'm surprised that any of the
Uh,
official magazines are still going. Because like even
Flux.
Nintendo Power shut down.
He worked for Wired, Time Out New York, NBA Inside Stuff, Game Pro. Yeah, no, he did. Amrick worked as a senior editor at Official Xbox Magazine from 2006 to 2009, where he wrote features, reviews, the letter column, and various other articles for the magazine and its website, OXM Online. He was also the moderator on the OXM discussion forum on Xbox.com. And then he left there to go become editor in chief for World of Warcraft, the official magazine's first quarterly issue. So, yeah. And he was the weekly co host of Official Xbox Magazine podcast along Ryan McCaffrey.
That's when it was good. I listened to a lot of that podcast and had the magazine back in the day. And then Dan left first, and then I think Ryan left, and some other guys took over the podcast, and I stopped listening, and I think it just faded away.
Yep. Joe Cabbage writes in the chat room, what is a magazine? Yeah, I know. It's like a blog, but it's on paper. And then it's all like put together and bound on the edges. It's kind of convenient. It's good when you're offline. Like,
What's offline?
Yeah, when your phone's out of power, when your battery runs out on your phone.
Well, that just means you've done something wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's what magazines are for. It's when you've done something wrong. That's why they're all in doctors' offices. Because let's face it, if you end up in a doctor's office, chances are you've done something wrong. Like an ebook without the E. All right. So next item we got.
This is just kind of a fun one. So Jedi Academy is an old Star Wars Jedi Academy is an old PC game that was recently ported to PS4 and Switch. It has a multiplayer mode where you get to, fight with lightsabers. There was somehow crossplay between PS4 and Switch and PC was accidentally enabled, and because of the differences in the controls and the fact that this game's been out on PC for like almost 2 decades, it was basically a slaughter where whenever a PC player and a console player met, the console player died in seconds. And so the developer has said they're looking into this to try to restrict it again, just in terms of playability, because it ends up with an extremely one-sided slaughter of a multiplayer game.
I'm literally looking this up to see if I can find any video of this on YouTube, because they've got to have some YouTube video.
Go to PC Gamer. But it's interesting that I remember this and Fortnite did it too, where there was accidental crossplay, which on one hand speaks to how easy it is to do that these walls they've put up are so arbitrary and so easily torn down. But it's also just kind of funny that it can be done so easily. It can be done so easily that it literally happens by accident.
So yeah, apparently these are the cross-play slaughters that are going on. He's just standing back, annihilating. I know this makes for great audio on the PC and on the
radio,
the podcast. Yeah. He's just running around. I can't really see what he's doing, but it looks like he's just running and dropping stuff for him. And then shooting him from a distance. So, yeah. Anyway. So, that's not very good visual. But, yeah, that kind of sucks. But, yeah, it is. I mean, we've known this. that it is, and it's not just PC and Switch and Xbox. It's even Sony's PlayStation. All of them quite literally are a switch that can be flipped. There's been a number of accidental crossplays that have occurred that have made that very obvious that happens. Maybe this one is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just standing back there while everybody else is doing it. Just kill him. And it's over. He just stands up and just shoots him.
Okay,
So,
I have
yeah.
a couple other things.
Mm-hmm.
The new Xbox Games with Gold for this month. For the first half, it's Cars 2, Project Cars 2, and Fable Anniversary. And then in the second half of the month, you'll get Knights of Pen and Paper 2, or actually you get Knights of Pen and Paper and Knights of Pen and Paper 2.
Oh, nice.
And something called Toy Box Turbo, like a cartoon racing game.
Oh.
But it made me remember Fable. Like it's the old Fable Anniversary for Xbox.
The original
360.
Fable.
Yep. That is a
I
throwback.
think that is the Xbox and PlayStation, to be honest, are missing out on an opportunity where if they put out a really good game this month, no matter what they had on their schedule, because everything has changed and everybody's playing games because everybody's stuck in their houses, it kind of behooves them to put out a good game. The fact that they're releasing Fable, the original Fable, well, Fable Anniversary, it's not the original.
They're putting it out for free.
They're putting it out for free when they could be they've put out really good games and fairly new games for free in the past. This is not
you want a
one
really
of them.
good game. Remember, one of the PSN Plus games for this month is Uncharted 4.
I might have to do that.
Which I think it was a fantastic game and closed that series out on a particular high note. Yeah. That makes me hope they never go back.
It's kind of on my list of things that I want to do. So the fact that it's free actually is a really good thing.
It's fantastic.
Do you want to make some money?
No. Who wants money?
You sure?
No one wants money.
You could make would you turn down $1 million?
Depends where it comes from.
It is a bounty. And I'm typing this out. Epic Games has promised $1 million to the first person who provides proof of a smear campaign against House Party, their social platform. So Epic purchased House Party last year, and this platform allows users to join into video chats and play games with each other. And rumors started to spread that House Party enables hackers to access users' Netflix, Spotify, and bank accounts, which is completely untrue. Bunch of people on Twitter have posted from other people that they've heard that if you use House Party, it puts you vulnerable to hackers and you could lose your passwords or you could lose your accounts and that they'll steal money from you. And essentially it's been really bad for House Party, these rumors that won't go away. So Epic Games says there's no evidence that these claims are true. They've done their best to try to get rid of these rumors and to combat these rumors, and yet they still keep going. So they say it's pretty clear we've been targeted, House Party's been targeted by a smear campaign. And the company says the first person to provide proof that there is a concerted effort to smear House Party, they will give $1 million to. Quote, In a statement to the BBC, a spokesperson for Epics has said, quote, "We found no evidence to suggest a link between House Party and the compromises of other related accounts. As a general rule, we suggest all users choose strong passwords when creating online accounts on any platform. And that they will provide $1 million bounty, quote, for the first individual to provide proof of such a smear campaign." So, if any of you have proof of somebody saying, "We know it's not true, we're doing this to destroy House Party," or, I mean, let's face it, it's probably another competitor. If there is a smear campaign, it's probably funded by another competitor. But if somebody has the email, the smoking email, could be worth $1 million. I don't know how I feel about bounties like this coming out. I mean, I bet you're getting a lot. Their Epic is getting a lot of false flags being
Yeah,
sent
yeah. I
to
mean,
them.
it seems kind of similar to code bounties, which a lot of software companies have, where if you're a hacker and you find a vulnerability, you can tell the company and they'll pay you
Mm-hmm. Right.
instead of because they don't want you, they don't want other people to exploit it.
Right.
So it's seems like that, but with less direct coding involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess so.
So
So somebody's got a $1 million payday in their future. I guarantee you, somebody's gonna take that. Somebody, if there
yeah,
is a smear campaign, somebody's gonna take that. If it hasn't already been taken. You got anything?
yeah. So Pete Hines from Bethesda tweeted out recently, just today, that they will not have any sort of digital showcase in June. Bethesda won't.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that means obviously they won't have an E3 presentation, but they also won't have the equivalent of that in June.
Mm-hmm.
Like a digital E3 presentation. So
Right. So it's not even a virtual version.
yeah, so whatever announcement comes from their games will come later or will come sporadically, spread out throughout the year. There's not going to be this big presentation.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of weird that they wouldn't unless they don't want to talk.
Well, it kind of makes sense. Like, I don't know exactly what they have in the pipeline. I imagine Starfield still seems like it's long off. Elder Scrolls 6 is just kind of a daydream.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something about Wolfenstein. Doom already came out. And so the freedom to not have to put on like a big presentation showcase seems like this is the time to sort of let things slide and just announce games as they need to.
True. Yeah. Bitters just joined us in the chat room. Hey, Bitters. And Joe Cabbage says, "What do you think the E3 period is going to be like in general this year? Eerily quiet or the usual internet info dump?" Oh, it's going to be quiet.
I heard E3 might even not exist anymore.
I think this is probably, yeah. Last year was the last E3. I don't think it's going to survive after this year. Especially, well, actually, I take that back. If a number of developers are effective in getting their message out in June through virtual and digital means, conferencing, announcements, and let's face it, we're pretty sure that they can do it without E3. Sony's been doing it. Xbox is now doing it this year. Nintendo's been doing it for years. So there's been a general move of people away from E3 anyway, now that everybody is forced to adopt this method rather than going to E3 and spending an alarming amount of money to do so. If this cycle of E3 period news is effective, then I think that no one will go back to E3 because it's going to be so much cheaper. It's just the question is the news going to be? Are the smaller and medium-sized developers going to be able to get their message out as efficiently in a crowded digital media space? Are you going to be able to get the same kind of eyes? So I think that this is a lot of these guys are going to be testing this to see if they actually get traction through the virtual methods, virtual means.
I don't think last year was the last E3. I'm 90% sure that no matter what happens, the ESA will at least try to put on an E3 next year.
They'll try.
Whether it's like completely consumer based or whether it's some other weird type of show, they will put on some sort of convention that's named E3, and depending on how that does, that will determine the future. But they're not going to just back away. They're going to put something on through hell or high water because that's where they get most of their money from, and so
Right. Well, that's
they're not
the
going
thing.
to let that go without a fight.
I don't think they are going to get. I think that when you say they'll try to put it on, absolutely, they will try to put it on, but it will all depend upon how many exhibitors they get, and how many exhibitors they get are going to be dependent upon how successful these exhibitors are this year in getting their message out by not going to E3. And if they can make it worth their while to not go to E3 and do this digital virtual conferencing and announcements and live streaming instead, and they get similar or near bang for their buck of going to E3, they will not go to E3 next year. They will do it completely live streaming.
Well, didn't Sony and Xbox already pull out the last E3 and did their own thing?
Exactly.
So
that's been the trend anyway.
You lost the big ones. They're gonna do it on their own. So they got no. I mean, so E3, they were begging people, begging you and me to go. Say, please come here. And then the big people pull out. It's like, why am I going there?
So
again?
if there is an E3 next year, and if it even happens, I'd say let's go down to it, because I think we might be witnessing the end of E3 if they have one next year. They may end up canceling it because they don't have enough exhibitors. But you and I should do that, Nick.
Well, who would be left after E3? I mean, I imagine there's more people there, but
not going to be a lot of people. There really isn't. But I mean, I think no matter what, there's not going to be a lot of people next year. Unless something drastically changes with ESA. Like they drop their prices, which they're not going to do because they need this to make money. Let's see. Other news. Drive Club. I know that wasn't Piss Boy really into Drive Club for a while?
Maybe?
Isn't that the one where you start at one side of the country and you kind of work your way across the rest of the country with cars?
Yes. No. Drive Club was the PlayStation exclusive that was like a Gran Turismo. I think you're thinking of The Crew.
Oh, that's right. I am thinking of The Crew.
I remember playing a demo of Drive Club way back in the day, because that was like the first big racing game on PS4, I think, like the first party sim racing game. And the one thing I remember about it is I was driving through a tunnel, like the way they handled light bloom. I'd be out on the road, I'd enter a tunnel, and that moment when your eyes adjust to the dark, there's a split, like half a second, where it was just all pitch black and I couldn't see anything. And then when I came out of the tunnel, there's a half second where everything was just blinding white and I couldn't see anything. And it's like, I was thinking, oh, that's very realistic, but also it's a fucking racing game. I don't want to be blinded for half a second at any point in this game. And I found it profoundly unfun.
Well, you're not the only one. Drive Club has officially been, the servers were shuttered last night. They are gonzo. I mean, it was not a big surprise. We knew about this. They announced in August that they were going to do that on March 30th or March 31st. So it was anticipated, but officially it's, and this includes not only Drive Club, but also Drive Club Bikes and Drive Club VR. All three servers went down.
So, from what I remember, there was still there was a campaign. There was a single player offline mode, wasn't there?
Yes. All
Okay.
there is a single there is an offline single player campaign, but there was also online features and online
Yeah.
multiplayer. So you can't play those anymore, and if you didn't platinum the game, you can't platinum it now.
Oh, that's true. 'Cause you
Hmm.
can't get any of those.
Yeah, most of the trophies are actually have to do with multiplayer online. So
That reminds me, I did see something too that the Fable Anniversary game, there's one achievement that you can't get because it involves using Xbox Smart Glass.
oh God, that's a
Yeah,
throwback.
that was something that was an achievement very few people probably got.
Yep. So Drive Club was originally planned
Mm.
to be a PS4 launch title. I remember that, but it didn't come out at launch. It didn't get out until October 2014. It got delayed, and it was not good. It had a bunch of performance issues. It was super buggy, and even with the extra almost year of development, it was a hot steaming pile of poo.
Mm.
And that's probably why it did not do well. So, yeah, it's gone. I mean, the online is gone. You can still, if you're really into it now, you still love it, you can always play it single player.
A
Anything else from
couple,
you?
yeah, a couple games have come out. I don't think we've talked about Doom or Animal Crossing, but
Mm-hmm.
also a bunch of reviews are starting to hit for Resident Evil 3. And it's funny, I'm seeing like a wide spread of reviews for Resident Evil 3. I'm seeing some people uh, say that it's boring and just nowhere near as good as Resident Evil 2,
Mm-hmm.
complaining about how it doesn't have the same sense of exploration. It's just kind of a very straightforward action game. Like the levels are extremely linear. You're just kind of literally running from point A to point B. Uh, the nemesis creature they're saying is also kind of boring because he doesn't really stalk you through the world like I think Mr. T. No, it's not Mr. T. That's not what it was. That's not his name. Has
I
like the
pity the
tyrant
fool. I
monster
pity the
did.
fool that stalks me.
Yeah,
I was gonna
Pity you.
say, all of a
In
You want to
sudden,
see what a real
Resident
man
Evil
can
got
do? Come over here. Come
way
over here.
cooler than I thought it was. Mr. T?
in Resident Evil
Do you
2,
know
Mr.
what he
T
is?
stalked you through the police station. Where like you'd have to
Mm-hmm.
go around the police station finding items, and every now and then you'd hear the stomping, and you know, oh shit, he's nearby. I need to get away. And apparently, with Nemesis in Resident Evil 3, you go run through this linear environment from point A to point B, and by the time you get to point B, he appears to chase you to point C. And it's like, oh, okay, so he's like the boss at the end of each level rather than a stalker.
Mm-hmm.
But then I've also read a lot of reviews that are like, this is comfort food. It's like it's not as good as Resident Evil 2, but everything that was good about that game is still in here. Uh, nice timing. At first, I thought that was an ad, but then
It is
Shut
an
up,
ad. It's
fool.
a World of Warcraft ad.
yes, but I thought it was like a YouTube ad. But yeah, so I've heard very conflicting things about RE3, and as someone who was really, really excited about this game and was then really, really frustrated by the demo, I
Mm-hmm.
don't quite know what to think, and I'll probably just hold off and wait a little bit before picking it up because I'm a Resident Evil fan, but I really hated dealing with Nemesis in the demo, so yeah. And then it seems like Doom Eternal also is getting like mixed positive reviews where a lot of people are saying it's the general consensus seems to be that it's an extremely good shooter, but it's also a little too much of a shooter. It's the balance between all the things that you have to keep in mind at once for Doom Eternal is a little much, because it took the I guess triangle of strategy from the first
Mm-hmm.
game and expanded on that. So like in the first game, depending on how you killed enemies, whether it was through a glory kill, whether it was through shooting, or whether it was through the chainsaw, they would drop health, armor, or ammo. And so because of that trifecta, you were always thinking, how do I want to kill this enemy? Oh, I'm low on ammo. I need to chainsaw them so that I get ammo. Oh, I'm low on health. I need to, glory kill them so I get health. Am I low on shield? Or gasoline. I need to use this. And so, in the middle of a fight, you had various ways to kill them, and that would replenish different aspects of your arsenal. They've expanded on that with Doom Eternal, with a flamethrower that you have in addition to chainsaw and armor and health. And it seems like they just added a little bit too much on top of things because, like I said, the consensus I heard is that it's exhausting in a way that's not fun, where it feels like it's not that you have a lot to keep track of and that makes it fun. It's that in the middle of a fight, you're like, oh, fuck, I don't know what I should be doing. So. What the heck?
More Mr. T games.
All right, Mr. T.
This looks awful. I have no idea.
What is Gerson's Gaming?
This is some channel. This looks horrible.
Oh, this is a mobile game.
Is it?
There you can tell. Look at the screen. Like it goes
maybe.
vertical. See?
Yeah, you're right. It is. Is
this a match?
Isn't this horrible?
Oh no.
I have no idea what game this is. That just looks bad. Let's see if I can find the name of the game. Is it here? It's Mr. T 4SG.
Huh.
So it looks like you can do moves by matching. God, that's just horrible.
Yeah, that looks frustrating.
Yeah. So,
anyways, and yeah, I've heard a lot of people playing Animal Crossing, and it seems like the popularity of Animal Crossing has a lot to do with the current situation. I mean, it's a popular game anyways, but it's just like there's a fun article on CNN of all places that was like, it allows people to live out their wildest fantasy, normalcy.
Yeah, pretty much. If I could get my hands on a Switch right now, I would absolutely be buying Animal Crossing. It's exactly what I need. Switches
are also apparently still pretty hard to find.
Impossible to find. Trust. I mean, you can find them on eBay at an alarming price.
Yeah, mock up.
Yeah. Let's see. My last item is GDC bundle. There is a new bundle that is being provided that you can find on gamedev.world. And this is the Game Developers Conference GDC pack. That is, it's called the GDC Relief Bundle. And it has a ton of games, including A Mortician's Tale, Cat Lateral Damage, Codemancer, which is actually kind of cool. Which is I remember playing it. It's a game, but it teaches you coding skills while you game. Nuclear Throne, and I don't know how many games are in it, but the point of the bundle is to help support the developers who were set to go to GDC before it got canceled. Or is it postponed or canceled? I think it's postponed. But anyway, there was a bunch of these developers who had, independent developers who had purchased a bunch of non-refundable travel stuff, like airline tickets and hotel rooms, and they all got screwed when GDC was canceled due to the COVID thing. So many of these developers have partnered with GameDev.world to create this bundle to help offset the cost and try to recoup some losses that they had because of the cancellation of GDC. And donations for these are also being collected for a general fund set up by Wings Interactive. And through that, developers can apply for relief to help them, especially the small independent developers, get through this. But I'm pulling up this GDC. I'm going to pull it right now. Are you looking it up right now, Nick?
Mm-mm. I had that. It was I think they partnered with itch.io.
That's right, itch.io. There we go. I have it here. It is available only for another 1 day and 21 hours from the time that this was recorded. And I believe it's a pay what you want, but they're asking for at least $10.
Okay. I thought it was at least.
Yeah, pay any amount and you get all of these. Holy crap, there's a lot of them.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a ton of them for anything price you want. And then for wow, look at all this. Look at all these games. There's Fugue and Zombies and Phoenix Heavy and wow, I'm just getting like there's still another half a page to go. Oh my God.
itch.io in general has been like a pay what you want platform. And so
right.
I imagine for a lot of these games, it's very similar to what they have, like the situation already. But even for $10, there's a couple really good games there, like Nuclear Throne, Mortician's Tale, and Cat Lateral Damage.
Right. And there's Books of Beast Buddies. There's free music loop bundle on top of that. Yeah, Cat Lateral Damage. We've played Cat Lateral Damage.
Yeah,
it's
and
fun.
I think some of these are assets too.
Yeah, there are some. There are some assets. Yeah. There's an interesting looking one. With fire, thy affections hold a wing.
I want to eat myself. Okay. Just saying. I might have to get that one. How much is that?
It's $10 for all of these.
Oh, I pay what you want for most of them.
Yeah, pay what you want for most of those, but for $10 on top of all of those, for $10 or more, you will also get Stellar Commanders Earhart bundle key, Stellar Commandos GDC relief bundle key, Respawn Man GDC relief bundle key only, Clean Suit GDC relief bundle key only, and Unblock Gridlock GDC bundle key. This is huge. So yeah, and it helps. The thing is that it's not just to pay what you want to get the stuff. The stuff is great. It's also helping out all these developers who are suffering because they spent a bunch of money to go to GDC and it all got canceled and they're all on the hook for these non-refundable fees that hurt them seriously. Many of these developers are one or two people together. So they're paid for it out of their pocket with their meager savings. So it's not like it's a company. It's a guy who paid a bunch of money and then got fucked by the COVID virus.
Like me.
Like you.
No one's doing anything for me.
Well, you could do things for you.
I did today. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I get approved or not.
Good.
Otherwise, I'm going to be out in the street giving hand jobs.
Nick. Hey.
No, that's not proper social distancing, goalie.
I'm going to put a paper bag on it like GameStop. I'm going to go to get all the paper bags. Reach around a corner so you won't even see me. And I'll be 6 feet. In fact.
Okay. That sounds healthy. Yeah. That passes.
He looks like he's there. We go. You locked up for a second there, goalie, but you're better now. You're back. So, do you have anything else, Nick?
Not really. I've been looking for
Don't look for anything. We're good, dude. We are what, 2 hours in?
You want to hear a little funny story?
Sure.
I'm just trying to bring fun here.
Okay.
So
We don't want fun
I
here.
I got a package on my door. I don't know if did I have my hat last week with the lights?
Yes, you did.
Did I? Okay. So my mother got me that for my birthday advance. It's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer hat for Tom Brady. Whatever. And it's got these little lights. So you click a button, 2 lights come on, right? And it's just funny, ha ha ha, right? The other night, I was actually with a friend on StreamYard because you can chat offline with this, right? You don't have to broadcast. So I'm chatting with a friend, and we had this massive storm going on outside. And I says, in case we get disconnected, it's because I lost power. I'd hung up on you, but I says, wicked storm outside, right? What happened later? Boom, goes, and it's 9:30, 10 o'clock at night at this point. It's so when the power goes at night, how initially dark it is in the house until your eyes start adjusting. And holy cow, I grabbed my hat with the lights and put it on. I was able to walk around the house and see everything.
I told you those hats. Yes, I told you that those hats are really good. They're super good.
And so I was like, holy cow, here I am thinking it's just kind of a little funny thing. No, I'm walking around the house. I didn't need to have my phone out, and I could see everything, and I made a sandwich.
Yep. I love those hats.
This is great. So I have it upstairs now, and I take it with me at night now, just in case the power goes out again.
Yeah. And they're also great to walk around with at night when you're walking the dogs, just because people can see you a ways off.
Yeah.
And it illuminates you from the top down so they can see that you're a person.
Yeah.
They're great. I'm a huge fan of the LED light bulb hats. And the thing is that you'll never lose them. Like the headlamps, they're sometimes hard to wear or uncomfortable, but those hats are great.
Yeah. Yep, that was pretty good. And the other thing that's been weird is my garage has been opening on its own lately. I was sitting there while you here, and I go, side must be in the garage. I looked at the kitchen. Over the garage, it's like no, and I go. So I thought maybe I'd come over and gone in the garage for something. It happened, her brother might come over or whatever. There's no one around anywhere, and I shut the door and house. Like, that is really messed up. There's nobody here. And then I walked the other day and I come home and the garage is open again. I go, what is going on with this garage opening home? So the only thing, and I'm thinking that maybe someone's driving by checking stuff, but like no one went by. It was completely quiet. So I thought maybe my neighbor's work, maybe he got a new garage thing that's frequency is mine. He's not even there. So the only thing I can think of is maybe the bat getting weak, and I might change the bat in the controls in the house. And it's like maybe the bat weak, and it's just kind of sending off a signal to open. It's like just the garage. Who's over in the garage? Oh,
so. Well, we should probably wrap up simply because 2 things. One, we run out of things to say. And Goalie, I don't know what's going on, but your internet is fucked right now. Your internet is like Nick fucked at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
We're getting like every third word. So, I mean, we're understanding what you're talking about, but you're definitely, and it's not, normally your stuff, if you have an issue, resolves itself, but there's something definitely going on. So,
For once, I'm not the one with the bad internet.
I know. Oh God, his internet is getting even worse as we're looking at him.
Well, see, I spread it to Goalie because we're near each other on the screen. We didn't practice proper digital social distancing.
Did you touch your face?
No, I touched his face.
Did you touch his face? No. No. All right, so everybody who's out there, please take care of yourself. Please take this COVID thing seriously. That's not to be joked with. Yes, if you're young, you can get it. Yes, if you're young, you can die from it. And moreover, you can give it to other people. And the fewer people we give it to, the sooner we can get back to normal. So take care of yourself. Take these stay-home orders if you have one in your neighborhood or if in your state. Take them seriously. We're all in this together, and we all need to work together to get over this and to conquer this virus. So, on that note, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 539. We recorded this on April 1st, 2020. I've been your host, Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick DiNicola and Holy Goalie. Ways to get a hold of us is gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Wednesday from at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. That is where the audio is. If you want to join us live in the chat room for there, please do. We actually had Joe Berman in there for a while until he joined us in I believe that's the same Joe Berman that was in the chat room that came into the YouTube chat room. We also live stream this on YouTube and on Facebook. Our YouTube channel is GameHounds Vids, VIDS, where you can see our beautiful faces. And on Facebook, it is The GameHounds. If you can, please become a Patreon right now. We need every bit of help that we can get. We're at patreon.com/GameHounds. Thank you so much to our Patreons. You're really keeping us afloat at the moment. And join us live for next week. We will be back. And please, everyone, stay healthy, stay happy, and we'll talk to you then. Bye, Goalie. Bye, Nick.
Bye. Oh, it looks like his internet got resolved just in time.
I just did a speed test and it was fine. It was like 300 down and 11
Yeah,
up.
no, you're great now.
It could have been. Sometimes it gets spotty over here.
All right. We're out.
All right, we're
We
still
are
live.
out. We're live on YouTube. We're
All right.
out on our audio. So
All right.
I'm
Couple things.
starving.
A couple things I can talk to you guys about off air, but I
Okay.
don't want to do it live.
Off air meaning off YouTube or off
Yeah,
air?
off.
All right. So let's do that. Everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us in the chat room. AC Wraith, Joe Cabbage. We had Corey Wallace. We had Bitters. Andrew Smith. Oh, hey, Creation Chaos is on here. Hey, Creation. I didn't see you until just now. Ton of people.
Oh,
Bumbo.
yeah.
Thanks for the Ice Age stuff. Fucking Bumbo. Don't forget to come back next week. We need you, buddy. Thank you so much for being part of the show and being here and keeping us going, because we need you in the chat room, mostly to keep us sane, because I'm going crazy inside my house and I need you guys to be my friends. So thank you. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.